Please welcome European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
Good evening. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight and speak at this esteemed gathering about an ally and a friend, and a most deserving recipient of this award, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. I could tell the audience about our amazing cooperation of these years, dear Prime Minister, about how we coordinated our actions in the wake and in the aftermath of Russia's full-scale aggression of Ukraine, or how you hosted an incredibly successful G7 at Hiroshima. But there is another moment that is even more telling of your courage and your leadership. I'm talking about your visit to the small Ukrainian town of Bucha, a symbol of Russia's brutality and of Ukraine's resistance. Bucha was liberated by Ukraine's brave soldiers in the early weeks of the war. But Russian troops left a trail of blood and death and destruction. They executed dozens of civilians in cold blood in one of the worst war crimes since the start of Russia's brutal war. And you, dear Fumio, decided to make the long and difficult trip to Bucha to see with your own eyes the horror that Russia left behind, but also Ukraine's determination to resist and to fight for its freedom. For the first time since World War II, a Japanese Prime Minister visited a country at war. And you brought with you Japan's solidarity in words and deeds. From the very beginning of this war, you opened your country to Ukrainian refugees. You joined us in sanctioning Russia for its crimes. And you stood at our side when Putin tried to blackmail Europe with gas. Ukraine and the whole of Europe will be forever grateful to you for this. Arigato, dear Fumio. You have done this because you know that although Ukrainians are paying the highest price, this war is not only about Ukraine, and it is not only about European security. This is about the basic principles of the UN Charter, which have protected global peace since the end of World War II. It is about the simple, yet vital rule that borders cannot be changed by force, and that every country should be free to chart its own path. You, dear Fumio, understood this from day one. You understood that we must all contribute to upholding the UN Charter, because in a lawless world, any country might face the same fate as Ukraine. In your words, you said, Ukraine today may be East Asia tomorrow, end of quote. European security and Indo-Pacific security are one and the same. Your vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific is also our vision. So we are bound to work together. And in these 2 years, Prime Minister, you have forged ever stronger ties between Japan and your like-minded friends near and far, from East Asia to Europe and North America. You have reconnected Japan to its most trusted partners and built new bridges across the world. Thanks to your leadership, today our three continents are closer than ever before. Distinguished guests, there is a Japanese proverb that tells a lot about the country and about its prime minister. It says, "Onko Chishin," and it means explore the past to learn new things. You, dear Prime Minister, showed me the meaning of this proverb during the G7 summit in Japan last year. You brought us to your hometown of Hiroshima, the place where you have your roots and which has deeply shaped your life and leadership. Many of your relatives lost their life when the atomic bomb razed Hiroshima to the ground. You have grown up with the stories of the survivors, and you wanted us to listen to the same stories, to face the past and learn something about the future. It was a sobering start to the G7 and one that I will not forget, especially at a time when Russia threatens to use nuclear weapons once again. It is heinous, it is dangerous, and in the shadow of Hiroshima, it is unforgivable. No one is better poised than Japan to warn us of the extreme danger and of this recklessness. Right from the beginning of this war, Japan's position was clear. As the only country that has suffered from atomic bombings, you have made the whole world listen. Today, Russia's nuclear saber rattling has been condemned not only by our like-minded partners in the G7, but by the whole world. And your diplomatic efforts have been crucial to reach this outcome. This is true leadership. The kind of leadership that the world needs in these troubled days, leadership that is not afraid to learn from the past to shape a different future. So it is a pleasure to be with you today to celebrate your work and your vision. Distinguished guests, please join me in congratulating Prime Minister Kishida on earning the 2023 Atlantic Council Award.
Thank you, Ursula, for your kind introduction. We are good friends for long, and it makes me especially happy that you talked only good things about me tonight. Thank you very much, Ursula. And thank you, President Kemp and the Atlantic Council for this prestigious award. I'm very much honored to receive this. In May, I hosted the G7 summit in Hiroshima. a symbol itself of the pledge for peace. At the summit, the G7 leaders and many other leaders from around the world had the opportunity to directly listen to the experiences, stories, and wishes of hibakusha, the survivors of atomic bombings, as well as to learn firsthand the devastation through their visit to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. There we shared in a renewed determination to work together towards a world without nuclear weapons and to pass on the same conviction and resolve to the generation that will follow. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Manhattan, there is a large statue of a Buddhist monk. This statue stood in Hiroshima 78 years ago, and it survived the atomic bomb. Every year, on August 6th, citizens here in New York gather in front of this statue and pray for peace and a world without nuclear weapons. Hibakusha and the citizens of Hiroshima and Nagasaki have devoted their lives to sharing their stories and prayers. Many others, too, have dedicated their lives to promoting nuclear disarmament or advancing radiological sciences. Today, let us remember those who gave their lives and sacrificed everything for peace. All of us here are standing on the shoulders of those unsung heroes. We should never let their efforts and sacrifices end as a mere dream. It is the responsibility of every political leader to find a pathway to overcome the harsh realities of the world and take the lead to achieve such peace. I humbly accept this award on their behalf as Prime Minister of Japan and as a citizen of Hiroshima. Thank you very much.